Hello my darlings and happy Friday! Today our story is all about Pocahontas. The London docks buzzed with excitement. John Smith and his crew were ready to set sail for new land. They were looking for gold. John Smith was very strong and brave. He had been on many trips to see new and wonderful places. Across the ocean, a young woman named Pocahontas was playing with her friend Nicoma. Pocahontas was not afraid to explore on her own or dive from tall cliffs into the water. Nicoma was always telling Pocahontas to be careful. "You worry too much," said Pocahontas. "You don't worry enough," replied Nicoma as she watched her friend. Pocahontas just laughed. She swam under Nicoma's canoe and tipped it over. The two friends laughed and played in the water. Pocahontas and Nicoma belonged to the same tribe. They believed that the earth was special and each animal and plant had its own spirit. Look, there they are on the water. Pocahontas liked to explore the forest with her raccoon friend Meeko and her hummingbird friend Flit. Meeko and Flit were not as brave as Pocahontas, but they enjoyed her adventures. They especially liked to visit Grandmother Willow. Grandmother Willow was a wise old tree who spoke to Pocahontas and helped her discover the answers to life's questions. Pocahontas told Grandmother Willow about a dream she had. In her dream, Pocahontas saw strange clouds and a spinning arrow. She felt the arrow was pointing her to the right path in her life. Pocahontas said that she also felt something exciting was coming to her land. She knew that whatever it was would change her life forever. Grandmother Willow told Pocahontas to listen to her heart and to listen to the wind. Then, one day, Pocahontas saw the strange clouds from her dream floating above some trees. She had not understood that what she saw in her dream were not clouds, but the large white sails of a ship. The ship was John Smith. He and the other English settlers had arrived at the new land. Governor Ratcliffe claimed the land for England and King James. He called this new land Jamestown. He did not care if other people already lived on the land. He felt it belonged to England. The settlers were very excited about their search for gold. Each man grabbed a shovel and began to dig right away. There's Pocahontas in the boat. Pocahontas was curious about the strange clouds she had seen. She got in her canoe and went to explore. At the river bend she saw something curious. It looked like a man, but not like any man she had ever seen. This man had light hair and strange clothing. He spoke to Pocahontas, but she did not understand his words. She then remembered the words of Grandmother Willow. She told Pocahontas to listen to the wind. A breeze blew leaves around John Smith and the sound of his voice. Suddenly Pocahontas understood this man's language. She spoke back, "I'm Pocahontas." John Smith took her hand. He was enchanted by this beautiful girl. He had never seen anyone who looked like Pocahontas. On the shore near the ship, the settlers were digging up the land. They could not find any gold. The settlers were also being watched by men from Pocahontas's tribe. They wondered what the strangers were doing. Their behaviour was so odd, it made the tribesmen uneasy. They are. John Smith and Pocahontas spent the day together. Pocahontas taught John Smith how her people loved the earth. She told him how every rock, tree and living creature has a spirit. For further proof, she took him to meet Grandmother Willow. John Smith was amazed. He had never seen a talking tree, especially one that told jokes. "My bark is worse than my bite," said Grandmother Willow, laughing. Just then Meeko brought Pocahontas a compass that he had taken from John Smith. That was a sign. Pocahontas knew that John Smith was the reason for her strange dream. She realised, that the arrow on the compass was the arrow in her dream. She watched the arrow spin and spin, only to stop while pointing at John Smith. With the help of Grandmother Willow's advice, Pocahontas knew that John Smith was her true love, her right path. As Pocahontas and John Smith shared a special moment together, they were spotted by others in her tribe. The tribesmen misunderstood and thought that John Smith was trying to hurt Pocahontas. The men attacked him and captured him. They took him to see their leader, Pocahontas' father, Chief Powhatan. Chief Powhatan felt threatened having this stranger on his land. He did not understand that John Smith was in love with his daughter. He decided that John Smith would be dealt with at sunrise. Oh no, they've got him. During the night, the English sailors had learnt that John Smith was being held captive by the natives of this new land. They discussed what should be done. The men thought the tribesmen were dangerous. The English settlers decided they had to fight them. As of yet, the settlers had not uncovered any gold. They felt that if these dangerous people were gone, then they could claim the land and the gold for their own. The settlers prepared for battle. As the sun rose the next day, John Smith was led to the tip of a rock that overlooked the land. Chief Powhatan wanted to punish John Smith. He felt that this would scare away the other strangers as well. Just as they reached the rock, the English settlers appeared. They were ready to attack. The men of the tribe stood, armed and ready to defend themselves and their land. Pocahontas felt that the fighting wasn't necessary. She knew the two tribes could learn from one another. She threw herself in front of John Smith and begged that the fighting be stopped. Chief Powhatan looked at his daughter. He suddenly understood that she loved John Smith. Chief Powhatan put up his hand to stop the battle. Everyone saw this as a gesture of peace. They all put down their weapons. The battle was over before it began. The settlers wanted to make peace. They could see that Pocahontas and Chief Powhatan were kind. They saw that the tribe did not want to fight, but evil Governor Ratcliffe did not care. He wanted to fight anyway, and ordered the settlers to fire their guns. The Englishmen refused. Governor Ratcliffe decided that he would do it himself, and took aim at Chief Powhatan. Oh no! John Smith anticipated Ratcliffe's decision and pushed the chief out of the way. The chief was safe, but John Smith had been hurt badly. The medicine man in the village could not heal him. Everyone knew that John Smith had to go back to England. He needed to be in the care of a doctor. Chief Powhatan gave John Smith a special blanket to keep him warm. Pocahontas comforted him while they waited for their preparations to be made. She told him that everything would be all right. John Smith knew that Pocahontas was right. The people from the village brought food for the settlers' journey back to England. They had corn, wheat for bread, and other fruit and vegetables. The Englishmen were grateful for the supplies. Chief Powhatan told John Smith that he was always welcome among his people. John Smith thanked the chief. He hoped to come back one day, and it felt good to know that he would be warmly welcomed. Look, there he is. He's not very well, so they're helping him. The time came for the English ship to set sail for London. John Smith asked Pocahontas to come with him. She told him that she must stay with her people. She was needed for her wisdom and kindness. Even though he would miss her terribly, John Smith understood. "I will always be with you, Pocahontas," said John Smith. "And my spirit will always be with you, John Smith," said Pocahontas. She hoped that she would see John Smith again, but she knew it would be a long time before they could be together. Despite her sadness, Pocahontas remained brave. An English sailor rowed John Smith to the ship. John Smith was very sad. He knew that Pocahontas was special. Someday he hoped he would come back to the beautiful new world and see Pocahontas again. Well, my darlings, I hope you enjoyed this story, and that whatever you are doing on this fantastic Friday, you have had fun. If you are coming back to nursery next week, you have only got 3 more sleeps. Tonight, Saturday night and Sunday night. If not, there will be still lots of things to do on Google Classroom that I've always done, and I will still be reading you a story every day. So until tomorrow, when we are reading Cinderella, enjoy whatever you are doing. Goodbye, my darlings.